I'm with Ashwani Kumar, a senior advocate of the Supreme Court, a former Union Law Minister in the second Manmohan Singh government, a long-time Congress leader. He left the Congress party in 2022 under different circumstances. Belongs to Punjab from Gurdaspur, where he was elected from the Rajya Sabha. And today it is my pleasure that he is with us in the studios of the Tribune right here in Chandigarh. I'm Jyoti Malhotra, and this is the Tribune interview. Mr. Kumar, welcome to the Tribune.
Thank you.
So this is the first time you're in the offices of the Tribune, Mr. Kumar. Welcome to the Tribune.
Thank you.
My first question to you is about the case filed against Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, the biggest leaders of the Congress party, in the National Herald case about the misappropriation of assets. Your first comments.
Well, many people in the country think that this is not a lawful prosecution, but a case of political persecution. How it turns out in court, we have yet to see. It has only just begun. The charge sheet is the first step in the judicial process. There are different points of view. Some people say that the case is ironclad. Some people say that this is nothing but a political witch hunt. I believe that the way it is panning out, it seems more like the latter. It seems a political opponent is sought to be intimidated through the weaponization of the legal process, where the process itself is the punishment.
But why are you saying it's a political witch hunt?
For the simple reason that it has been several years since 2015 when the case was then initiated.
Right.
Hundreds of hours of interrogation have taken place. It has been 10 years since 2015.
And finally, the charges are being filed.
And finally, the charge sheet has been presented after 10 long years. Itself speaks for whether the case is weighty or not. But without
If I were to play devil's advocate, I would say that I've taken my time. I don't want to make any mistakes. I've read all the files. I'm looking at the whole case. I'm going into the background, the history. And now I'm filing a charge sheet against Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi of the Congress party in the National Herald matter.
Well, I have no difficulty with the prosecution taking recourse to the legal processes. But have you ever heard of a former law minister who is also the spokesperson of the ruling party, during whose time this case has been initiated against against a political opponent, holding an early morning press conference to discuss the merits of the case in the public sphere in a press conference?
What's the problem with that?
The problem is that this is a clear case of media trial, which offends against the rule of law, which offends against the basic structure of the Constitution, and the Supreme Court has so ruled. I have no difficulty if you maintain the integrity of the legal processes to reach a finding of guilt or innocence. But here, a former minister, a sitting MP, a senior leader of the ruling dispensation, chooses to hold a press conference to argue the case in public as if the already ongoing media trial was not enough. So these things do raise a question mark in the sense that people have begun to feel, a large number of people who are not aligned this way or that way have begun to feel that this is not in accordance with the due process of law.
But why do you think this is happening, Mr. Kumar? Why do you think that you think that the BJP is going after the Congress party?
Well, it clearly looks like that. I have not seen the actual details of the case, and I will not like to comment on the merits of the case in any case because they are sub judice.
Sure, absolutely.
But the first impression that I get as a citizen is that the whole thing seems to be a bit far-fetched and unfair. There could be technicalities of the law.
Unfair, that's a big word.
Yes,
that's a very weighty word.
Yes, it is unfair, and it seems to be that you are wanting to intimidate your primary political opponent just when elections are due in Bihar, elections will be due in Punjab 2 years from now. There is an implicit political strategy, so it appears to many people. And I'm nobody to pass a final judgment, but I do believe that justice should not only be done, but should be seen to be done.
Now, some would say that you're a senior advocate, you use your words carefully, but you're also a former member of the Congress party. You've been part of the Congress family, shall we say. Your father was in politics and, you inherited that politics. So some would say that you were defending the Congress party and that you were being partisan. Would that accusation be correct?
I am today not a member of the Congress party.
You're not, but you were.
I was, and I'm proud to have been a member of the Congress party. I still have my ideological preferences for the Congress party, but I'm not obliged to speak in a partisan manner. I'm speaking as a lawyer and I'm speaking as a citizen. I believe that media trial of any accused under any circumstances is proscribed by law, and several judgments of the Supreme Court have so stated. One of the latest ones is in the Sahara case, where the court has said trial by media offends the basic tenets of the rule of law, and because rule of law is a part of the basic structure of the Constitution, trial by media offends the basic structure of the Constitution. And here are eminent lawyers in the opposition camp who are doing nothing but media trial. Where was the need? In my memory, I do not recall any other case where on the day or a day or just soon after the charge sheet was filed, a top leader of the ruling dispensation chooses to hold a press conference to discuss the merits of the case.
So now what are the options before the Congress party, before Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi? Can they go to court once the charge sheet is filed? What happens next?
Well, there's a long process. The charges will have to be framed. There'll be argument on the framing of charges. Then the trial will proceed. And everybody knows under the PMLA, the Minister of State for Finance had given the statistics that not even 1% PMLA cases have led to conviction. So I think, but the tragedy is that even before somebody is found guilty, the process itself is the punishment. The person's reputation is ruined, and you are accentuating that injury by holding press conferences.
But you know that the Supreme Court recently has said about the ED, about the Enforcement Directorate, that a lot of the accusations that it has made against people and organizations, and they have not delivered, or when they come before a court of law, they haven't been able to prove those charges. So do you think that, in an earlier dispensation and an earlier incarnation, it was once upon a time the CBI which was described as a caged parrot by none other than the Supreme Court. Do you think that the ED is now a latter-day caged parrot?
Well, when people talk of weaponization of the law and weaponization of the investigative processes, this is what they are saying. And it is not happening only in this particular case. You see the number of cases in which political opponents, and mind you, this is happening even with the state governments. The ruling dispensations, the states are doing the same thing with their political opponents in the state. So I'm not singling out any one particular party. I'm saying that using investigative agencies for political ends seems to have become the norm rather than an exception. And that is why I say that the processes of justice are being compromised at the initial stage itself.
You spoke about the state. Now let's come to Punjab. You're from Punjab. You're very much Punjabi, as am I. We are in the Tribune studios. So you talk about Punjab. Now in Punjab right now, there is a political sort of, furor, which is that Partap Singh Bajwa, a member of the Congress party, your former party, has been summoned, or there was an FIR against him because of a statement that he made, which was that there are 50 bombs in Punjab, allegedly. Some have gone off, he said, and some are still, anywhere in the state. What do you make of that? Why do you think there was an FIR against a gentleman who made a statement? Do you think he should have been allowed to do that? Is there freedom of speech in the country or in Punjab?
Well,
perhaps?
it's a classic case of throwing the baby with the bathwater. I mean,
who's throwing the baby with the bathwater?
The ruling dispensation in Punjab has better things to do than hauling up a leader of the opposition who has only expressed his concern on the basis of information he said he has received. Whether the information he has received was right or wrong, whether it should have been stated in a particular manner or not is another matter. But is this a case for an FIR or for a criminal prosecution by a government of a leader of the opposition whose job it is to espouse the cause of the state and express his apprehensions.
Why do you think Mr. Mann has done this, the Chief Minister?
I don't know. I don't want to cast more aspersions on anyone. I don't want to say that he has done it for a particular reason. He must have been so advised. He must have been told that we have to put a stop to this kind of a thing because it will create panic. It could be any number of reasons.
It is. Suppose it does create panic. You are the leader of the opposition. Mr. Bajwa is the leader of the opposition, a senior leader. When he says something, his words must be investigative, and he's made a charge like this. It's a serious charge.
Yes, though it should be investigated. So you have to balance. You have to balance the right of the opposition to say what it wants to say, and you have to balance the public interest in maintaining law and order.
Yeah.
And that is really the genius and the expectation from the rulers of the day. Mm-hmm. That is what good administration and good governance is all about. How do you balance competing rights and competing interests?
Yes.
That is a function of the government.
So how do you look at, you're a senior advocate today, but you're a political animal in more ways than one. How do you look at the situation in Punjab today? There's been Sukhbir Singh Badal, the president, the brand new president, or the brand old president of the Shiromani Akali Dal, is president once again. How do you look at things unfolding in Punjab?
Well, I'm one of those who believes that it will be a great folly, a political folly, or a great error of judgment to write off the Akali Dal. Which Akali Dal will emerge as the...
It's a grand old party.
It's a grand old party. It still has its sphere of influence amongst the peasantry. And I have seen over years, even during the time of late Shri Taura, who was a very tall Akali leader, but he couldn't challenge Mr. Badar for the simple reason that the symbol, the takadi, was with Mr. Badal. And if Sukhbir is the real Akali Dal, the Akali voters will tend to congregate around him despite their misgivings which they might have had. So therefore, if the Akali Dal is able to revive itself, and as some people say, there could be a possibility of the BJP combining with the Akali Dal.
What do you think? You think they could come back together?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Politics is the art of the possible. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
It was a very bitter parting.
Well, you know, we're
2021, when the farmers laid siege to Delhi.
Yes, but now let's say the central government introduces some progressive measures for the farmers. That would be enough for Mr. Sukhbir Badal to say, you are vindicating our cause, so we are prepared to come and join hands with you. And it's, as I said, it's a matter of
You think they need each other? You think that
yes.
the Akali Dal needs the BJP and vice versa?
Akali Dal certainly needs the BJP.
Why do you think that?
Because Akali Dal today is not in a happy position today, but it still has a core constituency around which to work itself, and there are still 2 years for the elections. And I also do not believe that the AAP can be written off. Many people are writing the obituary of AAP. I am one of those who completely disagrees with that.
Why do you say that?
Because, look, it is a serving government. There are not too many scandals in the government. They have 95 seats. Obviously, that is a long shot.
And Bhagwat Mann is a popular chief minister.
Well, there's not too much controversy around him. He has his own appeal. He has his pockets of influence. But I don't think AAP is in the process of withering away in Punjab. It will certainly have substantially reduced numbers in the assembly. Congress has a chance of reclaiming some of its lost ground. But those who are already predicting the victory of the Congress, I would advise caution.
Mr. Ashwani Kumar, that's a really interesting khichdi that you're painting.
It is a khichdi.
I mean, you're saying that the Akali Dal cannot be written off. Then you're saying that the Akali Dal and the BJP, in your view, could perhaps, or more than likely, could come together again, a bit like Humpty Dumpty. Then you're also saying that Mr. Mann, Bhagwant Mann, and the ruling Aam Aadmi Party is not doing as badly as people are painting it out to be, and that the Congress Party, which believes that it could be the natural successor, shouldn't count its chickens before they are hatched.
I'm saying exactly that. But Congress will certainly gain, because it went down so badly that some people do believe that they've tested AAP, they've tested the Akalis. Congress is still an inclusive party, and there are a large number of people who...
You think Partap Singh Bajwa is waiting to be the next chief minister?
Well, I don't want to comment on the individuals. there are about 8 candidates who want to be chief minister. So I don't want to get into individuals.
That's being very dismissive of your former party, Mr. Kumar.
No, not at all. Because there are many capable leaders in the Congress party. That is what the party wants to believe. So it could be anyone. The chief minister would be
the party wants to believe that.
Yes.
You don't think that they are chief
No,
ministerial
I'm
candidates?
sure there are very wise people in the Congress party. And the chief minister will be the person whom the Congress High Command will choose.
So
if you have the numbers. So let's not count our chickens.
Okay.
I think let's first get there. This is a long shot.
But Partap Singh Bajwa's comment today about the 50 bombs has certainly united the Congress party. Everybody is gathered around him. He is the center of the flock today.
On an issue of bombs, what he has said, he should not be hauled for it. I'm saying so too, not only the Congress party. I'm saying that it is his right to say so.
Right.
But that does not mean that everybody has agreed to his chief ministership.
Okay. Or his
There's no
potential
sequitur.
or possible
There's
chief
no,
ministership.
There's no sequitur. But look, he's a senior. I mean,
He is a senior leader of the
I don't
Congress
think we should spend so much time on one individual.
Okay,
in this
then
interview.
let's talk about Bhagwan Singh Mann. You're saying that a lot of people believe today in Punjab that he should, that the Aam Aadmi party is not going to do as well. You perhaps agree with that assessment, but you believe he cannot be written off. That's an interesting thing to say.
No, I'm certain that Aam Aadmi party cannot be written off as if it will have no existence in Punjab.
You think he still has the pulse of the people, Bhagwan Singh Mann?
It is not he, it is the whole party.
Is it the idea of the alternative?
It
The third alternative?
It is the fact of 95 MLAs working for 97 MLAs working in different constituencies, supported by the government of the day for 4 or 5 years. They must have done something good in their constituencies. So in an assembly election, even if a sitting MLA who loses takes away, let's say, 15 to 20,000 votes, and his challenges are not one party but 4 parties. How the votes will get divided, nobody knows today. That is why I'm saying it is a khichdi situation today.
So let's talk a little bit about the Akali Dal and the BJP. Now, a lot of your former colleagues left the Congress and joined the BJP. Sunil Jakhar, today president of the state BJP. Captain Amrinder Singh, former chief minister of Punjab, now with the BJP. You think that the BJP and the Akali Dal could be back in clover?
Yes. And I think they can be. The logic of the situation might compel them to come together. But one thing I can tell you again with a degree of certainty, which I have not said with respect to the other 3 or 4 combinations. Whatever may be the number of seats of the BJP in the assembly, the vote share of BJP in Punjab will substantially increase. Increase.
You know, Mr. Kumar, last Lok Sabha election, the vote share of the BJP was 18%, the highest ever.
It will increase. You take it from me and you can note down the date. They have extended themselves into the villages, and effectively so. And
they are not being allowed to go. The BJP candidates are not being allowed into the villages of Punjab. And by extension, the Akali candidates are also people are very unhappy with them because they once had an alliance with the BJP. But you feel that phase is perhaps getting over?
You know, nothing lasts forever. Sentiments keep changing. Political situation is always in a state of flux. It is evolving. As I said, I clearly foresee some initiatives for the farmers' community by Prime Minister Modi.
He has already done that.
In the near future.
There have been initiatives. In fact, Daliwal, the big farm leader, has broken his fast.
Yes.
So,
and Mr. Badal will probably have reason to say that some of their agenda has been advanced or progressed under Prime Minister Modi. But at the end of the day, the logic is political. And the political logic is that the two combined will be a formidable combination for both AAP and the Congress. And I can tell you one other thing. In case the BJP under the Prime Minister and Akali Dal actually come together, in that case, the contest will lean in favor of the BJP Akali.
even if there is a potential coalition between the Akali Dal and the BJP, you think that BJP will have the upper hand in a coalition like that?
No. BJP Akali as a coalition will have the upper hand, and BJP will have much greater weight within the coalition than it used to have
earlier.
In the early
When
years.
earlier the Akali Dal was a senior partner.
BJP would now be, if not a senior, at least an equal partner.
So the Sikhs of Punjab would be willing to forgive the BJP?
Yes. Yes. There is no visceral hatred amongst the Sikhs for the BJP. It is in the farming community that there is an anger, and if the Prime Minister is in a position to address that, which I think he will be well advised to, and which I think he will, then that anger will subside.
That's a really interesting thing that you say. So it's not just the Hindus of Punjab who may be in favor of the BJP, but it's also the Sikhs of Punjab who may be willing to give Prime Minister Modi and the BJP another chance.
Yes, because the BJP has gone in for a very extensive outreach to woo the Sikh leaders in the villages. It has got into the peasantry. There was a time when you couldn't find a single person in the village to even put a booth for the BJP. Now, if you see the second rung leaders of the BJP amongst the Sikhs are all from villages.
Are you saying this because you have experience from Gurdaspur,
Yes.
which is your hometown?
Yes, my
and
father
which
used
is
to
very
contest.
much part of the
Yes,
Marja?
absolutely. My father used to contest Lok Sabha elections, assembly
That
elections.
was a while ago.
That was a while ago, but even now, even during my time, I may have been in Raj Sabha, but I have actually worked at the grassroots in my area, and I know that area. There was a time when people could not go, people couldn't find any active person in the village. One or two, some teachers or some people would be there, but they would remain mostly to themselves. Now there are people amongst the Sikh peasantry who are prepared to hold on and keep the booth of the BJP flying.
That's really interesting. You think this is because in Gurdaspur, for example, which is a border area, the India-Pakistan border, and do you feel that perhaps one of the reasons for that could be that Prime Minister Modi is seen as a strong leader, and that the people of Punjab would like, it's a border state, it's a sensitive state, and they want like a strong leader who is always there to protect them. You think that's part of the charm?
Without doubt. The image of Prime Minister Modi as a strong leader capable of taking on Pakistan, capable of defending the borders of this country is a very strong factor in favor of BJP in Punjab. People are voting not so much for the BJP, but they're voting for the Prime Minister.
That is a really interesting thing to say, and especially, Mr. Kumar, and that's my next question, is that how do you look, you're a politician, or you're a political person, you're a lawyer, the center-state relations, and especially an aspect or a story that is constantly beneath the surface in Punjab. Now, the Aam Aadmi Party lost Delhi recently. This is the only state they have. It's a big state, 3 crore people. How do you think that, not that many states in the country that are not ruled by the BJP, this is one of them. How do you see this? You live in Delhi, you have roots in Punjab. How do you see this play out?
You mean how do I see BJP establishing itself?
No, basically the center-Punjab relationship in terms of center-states relationship.
One of the nemesis for Punjab has been in the last couple of years that the relationship between the state leadership and the center has not been very good. Punjab, I hate to say it, is falling on all parameters of development. And it cannot revive itself without a very active support from the central government. I know I was also the planning minister for a while. We gave a large amount of funds when Mr. Badal was the chief minister, because Punjab has no money. Let us face it. It has a water crisis on its hands, it has the soil crisis on its hands, it has drugs on its hands crisis, unemployment, skills, education sector, all parameters.
It's in a deep crisis.
It's in a deep crisis. Some people say it is...
So Punjab needs help.
Punjab needs not only help, Punjab needs a politics of renewal. Punjab needs a constructive politics where opposition parties and the ruling parties, at least on larger issues which impact the future of the state are involved. And these are education, skills, health, water, diversification of agricultural economy.
You don't think this is happening?
This is not only not happening, in fact, contrary to the tradition of Punjab, and I want to emphasize this point, for once we are seeing political opponents being seen as personal enemies. This was never the culture in Punjab. In Punjab. This was never the culture in Punjab. In fact, political opponents had the best of social and personal relationships. That's for the last couple of years, not only now, for the last couple of years that has gone, and it is worrisome.
No, so the ruling party is seeing its opposition as an opponent.
Both. Everybody is seeing everybody else
not just as a political opponent, but more than that.
More than that. There is an element of vendetta. And an element of vendetta, of course, by definition would be by those in power against those who are not in power. But
yes.
The reverse is also
That's
true.
That's the nature of politics, Mr. Kumar.
Yes, that is the anatomy of politics, and that's the anatomy of power. But also let me tell you that the reverse is also true. The opposition is also not showing the courtesies that are necessary to be shown to constitutional functionaries. Name calling. What kind of a dialogue is this?
No, so whether this is between the Congress and the ruling Aadmi party, where does the BJP fit in? The BJP rules the centre. We are talking about centre-state relations.
No. Here I'm saying it will obviously be between the ruling dispensation and the opposition.
BJP.
But the BJP is also in the opposition
here. Yes, it is in the opposition.
So I am making a larger point. The point is that ruling dispensations and those in the opposition ranks no longer see each other as ideological opponents. They see each other as personal enemies, which is wrong. And that is how you are seeing power playing itself out.
And that impacts Punjab much more. Why?
Because Punjab never had that tradition. Punjab always had a great tradition of social solidarity amongst leaders. I remember in my father's time, there was an instruction given to his secretary that his political opponents, any personal work has to be done on a priority. Standard instructions. Mm-hmm. And any wedding or any invitation from an opponent's family, my father has to be there. That used to be the tradition.
Tamil Nadu, M.K. Stalin is at daggers drawn with the BJP, with his own governor. You don't seem to be as worried about Tamil Nadu as you are with Punjab.
No, I'm certainly worried about Tamil Nadu's experience. I'm worried about what Punjab and Tamil Nadu are showing the nation. That the center-state conflict is being accentuated on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. The judgment of the Supreme Court castigating the Tamil Nadu governor, if it is taken in its right spirit, could perhaps remove one of the irritants. The governor, who is the central government's nominee, is only a nominal head of the state. He can't be daggers drawn or at cross purposes with an elected government of the state.
Right.
It impinges on the very core principle of federalism. And all of these issues are in the process of exploding. Now the Waqf matter has gone into the Supreme Court. I mean, state governments have filed petitions.
How do you look at that?
I think it's a very dangerous development.
Why?
Irrespective of the legalities of the case, and that is one small part of it. Mm-hmm. Look at the political and social implications where almost unanimously, the minority community feels alienated and feels offended. Now, whether they have just reason for it or not is a matter that can rest for the moment.
Right.
The fact is that nobody can dispute that the minority community is up in arms.
Muslims.
The Muslims, because Waqf concerns the Muslims. And you cannot alienate 20 crore people of this country. You are sitting on a volcano. How much can you other the other? How much? Because there's a tipping point. Mm-hmm. In my judgment...
You think this is being done deliberately?
Well, look, I don't want to cast aspersions or motives. I don't know. People say it is a strategy for polarization. I don't know.
Right.
The government could have a point in saying that a large amount of property that was given to Waqf is not being used for the purpose.
Absolutely.
It may have a valid point.
Yes.
So I'm not disputing that. But governance is not about scoring political points in a court of law. Democratic governance is about enlisting the willing allegiance of the largest number of people in your country to your governance, to your rule. And that is not happening.
So we're running out of time, but I'm not going to let you go, Mr. Kumar, without asking you about a judgment delivered in the Supreme Court just a day or so ago by two justices. One is Justice Dhulia and the other is Justice Vinod Chandran on Urdu. And this is about the language of Urdu and how the petitioner from Maharashtra who said that that only Marathi can be the official language and Urdu cannot be translated and put on the bulletin boards of Akola, which is her district. Now, you are somebody who's fond of Urdu, and but I want to ask you, what does this show to you? Why would a petitioner from Maharashtra be so determined about not having Urdu as a second language that she's brought it all the way up to the Supreme Court and has been told off very gently by the court that a language is a language, it's not about Hindu and Muslim, it's not about religion, it's about language?
Well, let me tell you, the Urdu that we know as spoken in the country today is more Hindustani. It is a combination of what started years ago with Braj Bhasha combining with Persian, and over the years the Urdu that we speak today has taken shape. It is a composite language of the country.
Of India.
And it is a language which conveys very beautifully the culture of this country, the pluralism of this country, the diversity of this country, the cultural richness of this country. And it's a sad day for us as a nation, for India as a civilization, when it seems to be getting caught in these useless
debates
about language. And let me tell you, I mean, I was just, while talking to you, as you know, my passion is to promote human dignity. And Allama Iqbal, in 2 verses, has talked about dignity that no language that I have read, and I've read several books in English, have been able to capture that spirit. जब इश्क सिखाता है आदाब खुद आगाही. Ishq means a passion for your devotion to your God, to your cause, to your country.
Motherland.
किसी भी तरह का इश्क. जब इश्क सिखाता है आदाब खुद आगाही, खुलते हैं गुलामों पर असरार शहनशाही. Which means that when a person is made aware of his own self-worth and his dignity, even a slave is invested with regal grace.
That's really lovely. And tell me one last share, a favorite share of yours before we wind up.
It's about leadership. Again, Allama Iqbal, which is my favorite share. And he said...
Is he your favorite share?
This is my favorite
share.
No, this share is my favorite share of Allama Iqbal. And of course, I have Allama Iqbal is on top of my charts.
But the man who said Sare Jahan se acha about India, but then left and went off to Pakistan and invoked the whole ideology of Islam to justify the creation of a new country.
Well, that is true, but that was his life's journey, and I can't comment on that. But I remember when he said...
But you love his poetry.
Of course his poetry is a nationalist poetry, and now this one, about leadership, because I was writing something about leadership. Nigah buland. Nigah buland means lofty vision. Nigah buland sukhan, dulcet speech. Nigah buland sukhan, dil nawaz, magnanimity of the heart. Dil nawaz, dil ko jeetne wala. Nigah buland sukhan, dil nawaz, jaan pursoz, dynamism. Yahi hai rakhte safar, meere karwan ke liye. This is the baggage of a leader. Dulcet speech, lofty vision, magnanimity of heart, and dynamism. These are the attributes of a leader. So we are now in search of the निशाने राह दिखाते, again इसी का है अल्लामा इकबाल. निशाने राह दिखाते थे जो सितारों को, भटक रहे हैं किसी मर्द राहदा के लिए. It said, he was saying this about India, कि जो लोग, जो कौमें, जो देश सितारों को भी रास्ता दिखाते थे, such was the brilliance, आज लीडर के लिए भटक रहे हैं.
Mr. Ashwani Kumar, thank you so much for your time and for speaking to me at the Tribune. You've just heard Mr. Kumar, and I need not say very much more, but before I go, I would like to request each of you to subscribe to the YouTube channel of the Tribune, to tell us what you think about this video. This is the Tribune interview, and all the other videos, all the other properties from the Tribune's YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching, and bye for now.